Now that we have the upper shaft back in, we need to take a look at timing. You can see that you can turn the hook race by using your finger, or you can grab the left side collar on the lower shaft and you can turn it that way as well. Always make sure to turn the lower shaft towards you. Now as you're turning it, you can see that the tip of the hook goes underneath the feed dogs at least twice, when they're in their up position and when they're in their low position. So when the feed dogs go into their low position, leave the tip of the hook underneath the feed dogs. Now we're going to take the needle bar and on the zigzag motor right above it, move the needle bar to its most left position. Now, you can hold the hook race and turn the hand wheel towards you, and you can bring the needle bar to its lowest position. So bring it to its lowest position, and we can manipulate the tip of the hook a little bit over, and as the needle starts to come back up as you're turning towards you, bring the tip of the hook to the right hand side of the needle. For a closer up view, you can see that you can turn the hook, and as the feed dogs start to go in their low position, bring the tip of the hook and just leave them underneath the feed dogs. Now turn the hand wheel towards you to bring the needle down. As you start to bring the needle back up, gently with your finger move the tip of the hook to the right hand side of the needle, and you're going to put the tip of the hook about 1.5 to 2 millimeters above the eye, which is the proper timing. Now that you have it in the proper position, we need to slip the belt back onto the upper shaft timing gear. So gently put your finger on the right side of the belt and slip it onto the gear and start to turn the hand wheel backwards. Leave your finger there as a guide, and once the belt is on, continue to turn it backwards a few times just to make sure it's on. Once it's on, you can start turning forwards and you can see if your timing is correct. But first, to get a proper and true reading, you need to take a look at your idler unit. The idler unit is the piece that puts the pressure or the tension against our timing belt. Otherwise, the hook race and the needle bar would move sloppily together. They would have too much play between the two, and they should run together. So push up against the belt and find the proper tension. Once you have found it, tighten the screw. And we're going to double check, make sure it's not too loose or too tight. Now we're going to take a look, and we're going to look at the hook. We're going to bring the tip of the hook to the right hand side of the needle and check to see if it's 1.5 to 2 millimeters above the eye. Always turn it fast to check it as well. You want to turn it around a couple times to make sure that nothing's going to slip. So we bring the tip of the hook to the right hand side of the needle, and we're going to make the measurement about 1.5 to 2 millimeters above the eye. If you need a slight adjustment, turn the machine on its back, and we're going to locate the lower shaft timing gear. Grab your 2.5 hex driver and just loosen one screw. And once you have that loosened, you're going to turn the hand wheel to locate the other 2.5 hex screw, and you're going to loosen that one as well. Now we're going to stand the machine back up, and we're going to bring the tip of the hook underneath the feed dogs and hold the hook, and you can see that you can move the needle and manipulate the needle up or down. This is how we're going to make the adjustment. So we're going to bring the tip of the hook to the right hand side of the needle. In this case, we're going to raise the needle up so that the tip of the hook is about 1.5 to 2 millimeters above the eye. And once we have in that position, hold on to the hook, lay the machine down, and very gently we need to tighten the 2.5 hex screw on that lower shaft timing gear. Try not to move the gear too much. If you move it left or right or up or down, it could throw the timing off. So you need to tighten one screw and turn the hand wheel and tighten the second screw. Now that you've tightened both screws, stand the machine up, and we need to double check the timing to make sure it is okay. So we bring the tip of the hook to the right hand side of the needle and check to see if the tip of the hook is about 1.5 to 2 millimeters above the eye. Now that we have our timing, we're going to take a look at our upper shaft shield plate, which is responsible for our needle position up and down and where it stops. So to do this, we're going to take a look at our take-up lever. Always turn the hand wheel towards us. When the take-up lever is in its highest position, turn the hand wheel towards you, bring the take-up lever to its lowest position. Now that the take-up lever is in its lowest position, take the shield plate, line it up in the sensor nicely, and we're going to use our 2mm hex driver, and we're going to go from the top and make sure that the screw is facing the top. So you can go down through the top and very gently and very gently tighten that 2mm hex screw. If you tighten it too hard, it will crack. So you want to turn the hand wheel and check. Now go back to it and make sure that the shield plate is going through the sensor nicely. You do not want it rubbing or hitting the sides because that will cause an error. So we turn the hand wheel towards us and we can see that it's going through nicely. Next, remove the screw at the top of the casting that you put in there before so we wouldn't forget. Now we're going to take our metal plate, which protects and kind of covers our upper shaft timing gear, and we're going to place it back into position. Now you want to put a little angle on this to make sure that the part that goes over your upper shaft timing gear isn't hitting into it or rubbing, because that would cause a bad noise and put extra stress on the upper shaft as it tried to turn. So we tighten the one screw, and we're going to replace the second screw. Next, we have the cap. You have to save the cap from the old upper shaft that you took out. Line it up and push it into position. And now you have replaced your upper shaft. And it turns nice.